us. Woo, woo.
Hello.
Come here, Teenage Kicks. All jokes aside, this looks like we saw a little clip of it. It looks brilliant. Tell us about it.
Well, everything I ever said about TV being easy is out the window after. It was the most difficult I think more for my producer and director. I think they deserve some kind of award out of this. It was so difficult for them, but usually things that are most difficult and give you the most payoff, and this certainly has. And I kind of had an end journey of where I wanted to bring the whole project, but hadn't a clue how to get there. So it was very interesting for me. But basically I went down to a city that I believe has got an amazing soul, and my experience through playing rugby and music have been so positive, yet it's always had a kind of a bit of a bad name, and Limerick City was always a city that I felt had, I suppose, as I said, soul and real strong community. And so I kind of wanted to explore it a little bit more, and the only way I knew how to do that was through music, and that's how Teenage Kicks came about.
So in a line, if you had to explain to us what it is about?
Oh my God, Teenage Kicks, what it's about? It's about, I suppose, reconnecting. Oh, that sounds such like a real horrible thing. It's just a terrible answer to give. It's, for me, what it's about is it's basically about taking a group of people that may otherwise not have got this opportunity and focus them and show them what really is important, and that, you know, if you actually focus on something and don't use excuses, you can achieve stuff. And I think they've really achieved something with this. It's a music program. I auditioned nearly 90 people through the youth services in Limerick. We didn't necessarily just pick the people we believed had the best talent. We picked the people we believed would get most out of the journey, and we put them together, and we pushed them to the absolute limit, and they pushed me to the limit, and we created something very, very, very real, and something that I'm very proud of, regardless of what happens.
Now you've obviously been working as a coach in the Voice of Ireland. Do you think that that whole experience helped you?
I think it helped with them, that they understood that they've probably seen me on TV and they went, right, this is how he works. But then again, in saying that, I work totally different when I'm not doing something like that. I was much more. I think I was much more tougher on these guys. But yeah, I think it does help to a point. But the big thing you needed to do was to get them to stop looking at me other than the person that's going to help. Don't look at the guy who does the voice or anything that you see or hear on television. Forget about it. We need to establish this real element of trust if we're going to do something really good here.
Inside there, we all saw some other shows being promoted. Which ones are you looking forward to seeing aside from Teenage Kicks?
I think I'm looking forward to seeing Eoghan and Drunk, because I think it's very ironic that he's doing a show on being drunk, considering Eoghan's a bit of a party animal, in fairness. I think he's got a great experience, hands-on experience with what he's doing. I think he understands it a lot. But I also think, I know he's a good friend of mine. I think he's an amazing talent. I think he's a great presenter, and I think anything that gets him on the TV more is, and I think this is much more down his kind of portfolio of personalities that he has. So I think it's important that it's something that I've watched. I've always been a big fan of Republic Telly. I've done a couple of sketches on it. I think what they do is very, very difficult. It's very, very, like, you got to be thinking on your feet all the time. And there's a reason it's been so successful. It's very strong.
You're right about Eoghan. He's a very warm guy. You've a lovely bunch of a gang of friends. We all heard about Niall Horan's birthday, his 21st, and you were there, and Laura was there, Laura Whitmore, and Eoghan. It just seems to be a lovely gang, a nice, really genuine gang of friends.
I think you all got one thing in common. You're all Irish living in London, and I mean London's a very intimidating place. And the thing with Niall is, I grew up, Niall's from Mullingar. I know his family. So I think it was great to see him. The biggest achievement I think he's had to date was able to keep a level head in the absolute insanity that he's involved in, and he has. And we went to his party on Saturday, and everyone said, "Who's there? Who's there?" It was actually the majority of his family and friends. There was a couple of footballers there who I have absolutely no interest in, but that was it. That's the kind of guy he is. That's what he buys into. But he is an incredible. I think himself and Eoghan get on very well as well, which was great, because I think it's important that Niall keeps that level-headedness, because at the end of the day, in a couple of years' time, he can still stand by everything he did and achieved. And it's great with the lads, Laura, Eoghan, and all those guys. They're all top-class people who actually, very sincere people. I think that's what he needs around him. He doesn't need leeches. He doesn't need people pulling and dragging out him. And we couldn't care less really who he is, which he loves. I think that's important.
Lovely. Now, if you had to be in a reality show, obviously the Voice of Ireland has that element of it, but another one, what would it be?
I think reality TV's changed so much. It can mean so much things. I think it'd be brilliant to see something on primetime television surrounding mental health. I think it's something that's in Ireland at the moment has really come to the forefront, which is amazing. It's an amazing progress to see that people are actually talking about it. But I think it's now time to maybe do a bit of programming on it, and because people need to understand the power of the media. Like, you know, a good TV show or a good radio show has huge power. And I think what we're trying to do is normalise the conversation. So a TV show will go a long way of doing that. But I think it's important to understand that, you know, it's very complex. You can't just do a reality TV show on mental health. You have to be very clear what you want to do and what you want to achieve from it. But I think a lot of the shows that are around at the moment kind of focus more on statistics and policies rather than practical ways of dealing and managing with mental health issues.
RTÉ Ten, looking deadly.